Would you like to know what the industry is doing as a whole in terms of digital marketing and benchmark yourselves against the rest? Maybe you're falling behind or maybe you're crushing it, but you're not sure. Well, guess what? We just wrapped up our insight survey for 2019, and we've got some awesome insights that we're going to unpack for you in this episode, and then you're going to be able to have access to it. So listen if you want to learn about what your competitors are doing, what they're not doing, and how you can crush it in 2019.
Welcome to IndustrialSage, a free video podcast series all about digital marketing for industrial manufacturers. Hear interviews with your peers and find out how they're solving the same challenges that you might be facing in your own field. Coming to you from the Optimum Production Studio in Atlanta, Georgia, this is IndustrialSage.
Okay, all right, well, 2019 is off and running. We are to the races. I can't believe how quickly it's already started. So I was telling you about this insight survey that we did last year. So we started it in about October, November of last year. And I am so excited to share some of the results that we got out of it. There was over 50 questions that we asked. We talked to over 150 manufacturers, 154 to be exact, where they came in. This is all done digitally, and we asked all kinds of questions about like how, what do your conversion rates look like, website traffic, what are the strongest tactic that you're using for your marketing, what are you finding, things like that, and it was really awesome. So I just kind of wanted to share a couple of the key insights, these key opportunities that we found, and then I want to give you the opportunity to go and download this, and you can take a look at it yourself and really use it as a way to sort of benchmark yourself against the rest of the industry. So, our belief is we know that as a whole that manufacturers are really seeing a big problem in terms of the shift in the buying cycle. And one of the areas that we're seeing is that the number one marketing tactic that everybody listed was trade shows. Well, you and I know that that has been like the thing that's like been the main driver forever. But what was really interesting is that everyone also was saying that they're seeing a decline in leads that are being generated from trade shows. So here's the problem. If that's the main tactic, and that's what we've been doing forever, but yet we're seeing a decline in leads, where are all these leads going? Well, they're buying things digitally now. That's just how things shift. That's what we talk about all the time. Everything is shifting, and the way you got to go to market is you got to think more digitally. That's not the end-all, be-all solution, but it's a big solution. So, one of the things that we found out was that 43% of manufacturers are generating leads online. They're using their website to generate leads, which is interesting. To be honest with you, I think it kind of fell where we thought. It's not a majority. Not all the manufacturers are doing that. But I know, and we all know that is where things are going. When you look at other industries on how they're growing their businesses, online is a big piece. And using their website to generate leads, process them, get them through a funnel, and convert them into a customer is big. And we know that manufacturers are a little bit late to adopt. So the big opportunity is that, yes, only 43% are reporting that they're actually successfully being able to generate leads through their website. That's a huge opportunity. That is the opportunity for you to be able to say, hey, we need to implement this inside of our organization, and we need to really make this a big initiative and a big part of 2019, because guess what? There's 60-something%, or if I can do math really well, 57%? There's 57% of the manufacturers, the majority, are not doing this. But we know that there's a strong trend towards it. This is happening, okay? Big opportunity for you right there to take advantage of it. Another thing we found is, this is not a stat that really surprised us, but 65% of manufacturers consider themselves behind their competitors in terms of digital marketing. So what this means is that everyone is pretty cognizant about the fact that we need to be moving in this direction. But generally, everybody kind of feels like, man, we are way behind. Whether that is true or not, that may be true and it may not be. It may be the perception that everyone has, but the reality is that's sort of the general feeling that everyone has is, A, we need to be doing this, and that, man, we are late to the game, we're behind the ball when we're looking at our competitors in different areas. So that was an interesting stat. A really big one was that 75% of manufacturers plan on using video in 2019. One of the really interesting things that we found against that is that video is actually was listed really low on one of the questions that we asked in terms of what is some of the best performing tactics. The best performing marketing tactic that we found, was trade shows, which I referenced earlier. But video was way down on that list. And I thought that was very interesting, especially considering that 75% are planning on using video in 2019. That's part of the strategy. 50%, if I remember correctly, were planning on producing somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 20, kind of a wide range, 6 to 20 videos in 2019. So it kind of begs the question, well, if that's a really low performing tactic that was reported, yet they're still planning on producing on average of 6 to 20 videos in 2019, why? Well, they must be seeing some sort of residual value from that. They must be seeing some sort of perceived value that maybe, okay, we can't quantify 100%, like, okay, this, we're spending this on video and this is what we're getting at it, we're generating X amount of leads. But the perceived value, the value of, oh man, this just makes us look better. This makes our product look awesome. Or we're able to explain it a lot better to our customers. And so our sales teams are like, wow, this is awesome because people ask us these questions all the time and I can just send them a video and they like it and it's way easier. So there's some of that perceived value. And so while I don't have any hard data to tell you that is exactly what is going on, I can tell you from a lot of experience and talking to a lot of other manufacturers, that's what's going on here. Video is a piece that is not understood as well. People think of it just as maybe a marketing piece, as just a product video, and that's it. Where the real opportunity is that video should be spread across the organization and used in many different areas. There's a really interesting stat that Google has that they talk about, and then this is probably from 4 years ago, actually, where they cite that the average B2B viewer, they did a study, and they found that there were 48%, so we'll call about 50% of B2B researchers, so people that were doing research to buy a product that was specifically B2B. They found that half of them, so it was 48%, were spending around 30 minutes of watching video content before they engaged with a brand. Okay, bear in mind that was like 4 years ago. This is a study from 2014, 2015. We'll put this in the show notes so you can see that. So what is really interesting is if that was back then, just think about how we consume video now. It's way more. I mean, think about it. 4 years ago, you didn't go look on your LinkedIn profile and see video there. That wasn't there. I mean, it was exclusive more to YouTube and Facebook, but really primarily YouTube and on some websites. Now it's even more entrenched. You have an HD camera in your back pocket. You're seeing people producing their own video content and pushing things out there to be able to build followings. We're going to see a really great episode next week with Chris Lukey from Rockwell Automation. He's an account manager on how he's creating videos every single week, and he's being able to grow a network, grow an audience, and be able to sell that way. So big things for video we're seeing, but big takeaways, it's misunderstood. There's a lot of opportunities there. So good question to ask yourself for 2019. Do you have 30 minutes of video content on your website? Okay, we'll get more into this later in the year, but that's a really good stat. Another one was about 45% of manufacturers really don't know the percentage of website traffic that's coming into your website, turning into a lead, and turning into a customer. This is really valuable information. Now, here, the exciting thing with digital marketing is that we have the tools. We know how to do this. Now, sometimes it can be a little bit of a challenge. So there's really sort of two companies that would fall into that bucket. So the company A that's not doing any digital marketing, whatsoever, fine, okay, then of course we're not going to know that information. But the companies that are doing it, if things aren't set up correctly, and say, we've got the KPIs to be able to set up and figure out what website traffic is, and whether that's good or bad, that's what we're going to use, versus saying, hey, we know it's going to take, for every 1,000 people that come to our website, we're able to convert one of them into a customer. That's really valuable information because at that point, as far as getting bigger budgets and expanding and really increasing your digital marketing efforts, which, by the way, one of the big challenges on that was getting organizational buy-in. Well, the way to solve that is by having these metrics so you can go back and prove that out. So if you can go to the CFO or you go to upper management when it's budget season, in fourth quarter of 2019, we can go in and say, look, we've looked at the analytics from our website. We know that for every 1,000 people that come to the website, that we can generate one customer out of there. So it's a 0.1% conversion rate there for customers. So if we want 10 more customers, we need to 10x our traffic, or we need to reduce or increase our conversion rates on our website. So it's math. And then you can start saying, okay, well, how are we going to do that? Well, we need to do paid ads, or we need to do more placement, or we need to do a robust blog strategy because we know that that's going to increase more traffic to our website. Then it starts becoming a little bit more clear. So great opportunity to be able to get that information, because if we can really have that, then you could really start building out that case. And when it comes to fourth quarter 2019 and you want to say, hey, we want to do all these other things digitally, and you want to build out that case, well, guess what? The number one challenge that we found as far as expanding the digital marketing campaigns and really growing and improving them was bandwidth and budget, okay? This will answer that, because if we can go and prove it out and say, no, but this is working, it's math, we need more funds to increase. You want to grow your business? Do you want more sales next year? How are we going to hit our increase to $30 million of revenue next year, or sales, right? Well, this is one way of doing it. It becomes becomes a totally different conversation. So you need to have those figures in place so that you can have that business discussion with the company, and versus marketing, you guys are just making pamphlets and stuff like that, which is a real perception. I'm sure that any of you watching this or listening to this have run into that whatsoever. So another interesting stat, of course, on that we found, 65% of surveyed manufacturers don't have a specific goal for generating digital leads. Okay, not a huge surprise. We got to get more of that buy-in. It works, and I think that's really kind of what we're getting at, is if you come in and you're able to really prove that out and really follow somebody, close the loop, so to speak, from, hey, web traffic to here's a customer. Oh, wait a minute. Well, now the game has completely changed. Now we can put together a strategy and say, hey, well, wait a minute. Now we know that for every 1,000 people, that's one customer. So we either increase traffic or we increase our conversion rates. And convert by that meaning, instead of every one customer for every 1,000, maybe we're able to get 2 customers for that same 1,000. So what can we do on our website to make that a little bit better? Maybe we need more content. Maybe we need to educate things a little bit better. Maybe put in some more offers for people to kind of download. Which, hey, brings me to another interesting stat. We found that a lot of manufacturers were not really utilizing content offers. Okay, so first question you'd ask, well, what's a content offer? Well, when you're searching for something online, you go to a website, a little pop-up pops up, says, hey, we got a white paper on this. Would you like to learn the top 10 tactics on digital marketing trends for 2019? I'm putting in marketing speak. Or maybe it's the top 10 designs for XYZ. Pick a product and put it in there. That's a content offer. So it's got to be something that's really high value, that a prospect that comes in on your website is going to say, ooh, that's really interesting. I really like that. I want that information. So they're willing to put in their email address to get that information and those insights from you. And then now we've got the email address, we can nurture them and send them more emails and send them more valuable content that's going to help them along their journey. So having a content offer is a very big critical step to facilitating that journey and that relationship online. So 1,000 visitors to your website, 1 customer, well, there's all these little interactions that need to happen in between there, and putting in content offers is one of those ways of being able to identify who these people are coming to the website and help move them down the sales process. So really, at the end of the day, we've got some awesome stuff in here. Like I said, we had over 50 questions in here. The insight survey it's many pages deep. There's a lot. It's like 40, 50 pages long. And there's lots of valuable resources in there. We have stats in there, and then we have little information areas where you can learn more about the different things we're talking about, and then have references to different blog articles and videos where you can continue to learn even more about that topic that we're going on there. We have other lists. We've got we even found out what some of the top CRM tools are for manufacturers. So it's a great resource. It's a great way to really kick off your 2019. I encourage you to go download it. There's a link in the video if you're watching on IndustrialSage.com. If you're watching on social media, there'll be a link somewhere below. If you're listening on any of the podcasting platforms, because we're now like on a million different platforms. It'll be in the show notes, and you should be able to access it there. If you can't see it there, just go to IndustrialSage.com, and it'll be there, I promise. So thanks for watching or listening. If you are listening on any podcast, we'd love a review there. And listen, come to the website, come to IndustrialSage.com, where you can get access to all of these great content and tools. We've got all kinds of things planned for 2019 to really help you as the sales and marketing professional in your organization to really crush it in 2019 digitally. So thanks for listening. I'm Danny Gonzalez, and this is Industrial Sage.